On this video, I will show you how to install off-market LED lights on the side of a 2018 Goldwing and Goldwing Tourer. These lights should add to your daytime and nighttime visibility. I'm using the Alpina multi-glows 24-inch strips. There are actually two 12-inch strips that come with the kit. My only problem with using this kit is that controller is not waterproof. We're going to see what we can do about making that waterproof before I install it. One of the things that's nice about this strip, it comes with a test button. And you can see now how it lights up when I press the test button. You can also change the color. Watch this. Well, it's kind of difficult for me to change the colors, but I'm going to put it on automatic. In the automatic mode, you can see that the light changes colors on its own, on a multi-spectrum color that it's capable of. The back of this, it has a plastic case on it, which is water can't get in it. The only openings I can see are the entrance to the wires here and the entrance to the wires in the back. So I'm going to take some silicone sealant clear and seal those holes as well as the periphery of these controllers. And I'm sure that will make it waterproof. Here it is after I put a fresh coat of sealant on it. Give it a chance to dry and we'll give her a try. Here's what it looked like when I was done. The controller after I sealed it off. As you can see, sealed off there and there. And I sealed the outer ring as well in between these wires and beneath them, in between. So that should take care of it. Now on to the installation. The first thing we have to do is remove the seat. And you do that by opening up the side panels on both sides and a bolt underneath the seat. I found out the best thing to do before you take this cover off is this black piece here goes further underneath this cover. So the best thing to do is come in here and mark on your cover where this thing ends, on that ledge right there where it overlaps. And that's where you're going to have the end of the piece that's going to remain on your connector to your LED lights. So just mark a little mark. You can see where it is, because that's where we're going to end the piece that's going to curve in once it gets inside of this cover. So as I've mentioned, and as you've seen in the other videos, you first start by taking this cover off after you open the side panel. So you start from the back, there's a little lip there that goes into the notch on this panel. So you need to start from the back, pull it out, pull it up, and you pull it out like that. And it comes out like this. And you can set this somewhere where it won't get scratched. Now with the panel removed, you can see where I placed my mark that we know where to put the electrical connector that's going to be covered when we put the cover back on. With a 6mm hex head wrench, you take the bolts out on both sides. As I said before, some might be a little tougher for others. Some spin around here. Make sure you retain the washer that bolt contains for the seat. Most people will place a piece of protective tape here and there to protect your paint from these nylon bolts under here. But I just normally just come with my hand and move the seat forward. I should put it forward. Forward. And don't forget the connector on this side of the seat. this clear? Those of you that, like me, you want to see what it looks like before you install it. That's how your bike's gonna look when you ride it. And you'll be able to change the color too. Before you install the strip here, make sure you wipe this whole surface with alcohol to make sure you get all the dust and dirt off there so you have a good stick on your surface, or else it might cause you problems later on. One of the hardest things for me on this was finding a place to mount this controller. I don't want it under the seat because it's too hard getting in and out when I want to change the color of the lights. And so I decided to mount it on this panel that goes to right before the side cover, and therefore it will mount there. I can run the wires underneath this plastic panel and this wire up on top of it. And what'll happen, should we ever have to take off this panel for anything, I can actually disconnect this wire from its connector in here, and these wires will actually disconnect from the LED lights. So therefore, when you pull this out, the controller will go with it. You just have to make whoever works on your bike aware that these wires are there. Before you start mounting anything back, I suggest you put this cover back on, put the controller in the place you want to mark it, to set it. Make sure it's gonna fit. I have the other wires going in where they're gonna go in, and another wire's going right next to it, underneath this panel. So once I set where it's gonna be, these wires will be tucked underneath here, and you won't see these anymore. So what I want to do is to put myself a very light mark here. When I move this, I can see where I'm going to put this controller. Make sure the marks are visible. See, anywhere out here, but won't interfere with this panel. I think that's gonna be it. I'll put it on there and show you what it looks like, and then we'll wire it up. Here, before we place this thing in place permanently, you put this in position that you want it in. Take the double wires here and run it underneath this panel in the back and up through here, and make sure it doesn't block this hole, this grommet for when you put the panel back on. This wire here will come up and go into this area here, and it'll just disappear when you put the panel back onto it. And what's important here is, since this will be permanently attached to this panel, do not route these wires underneath the rail like you would normally. Route them to the top on this end and push them down. That way the seat can still come on and it won't be blocked. And you'll be able to have your wires, when it does come out, these wires can go with this panel instead of having to fight to go underneath this after all. When you put this in, you want the wires to go underneath the frame. So the best thing to do is start under here, the place where the wires can go under, pull this through, and what you're doing is pulling this all the way through so that these wires going to the light will be underneath the frame. Nothing get caught up to them as they're going to their connectors. Later on, we'll find a way to come back through here to connect to this connector, and the other one will go behind the tank to the other side. Now you can bring this into place. The best thing I found also is for you to take these screws out of these connectors here that connects the main shelter to the frame. Take them out on both sides so we can pull this panel to access underneath it. And there we have it in where we're going to mount it. We'll put these wires out of the way, and this wire again will go to the top area here, and you won't see them once I put this panel back on. So we use the 3M two-sided tape, put this in place, And then we'll just finish off, go ahead and wire it up. Now what we want to do is clean off this area that we're gonna stick the adhesive to with alcohol. Some says use alcohol prep pads, but we can do the same thing with just regular rubbing alcohol and a lint-free cloth like a terry cloth, like such. Make sure that you don't wipe off your marks that you've used to place your stuff. So you can go before the marks here, that way, and anywhere in this area that you're going to stick that. There's one mark there. Roll it up. Make sure there's no interference. Make sure this dries. Do the same thing for both sides. Now remember, when you put this up here, this plug should not go beyond your mark. Move a little bit out so that panel can fit back on here without bumping up against this. So you want to look at your mark, move this out just a little bit from there, and prepare your strip for peeling. And to do that, you may want to just go ahead and disconnect this now, if you can keep this from moving. Flip this up. You start peeling the double-sided tape. Peel it back a little bit. And again, check where your mark is. Keep an equal distance space along this line here. You pull your tape down. Line out, make sure you're straight. Line. You stick this piece down. Again, check along the way. Down as you go. Keep going. So you get to the end. So you keep them at equal distances. Right down. Till you're there. Then you have one side done. Do the same thing to the other side. Push along. It's even. Should stay there. I give you a heads up as to what it's going to look like when we get done. You can actually control the brightness of these lights. And I like this color, but in some states you can't run blue. But whatever you want to be able to, you can run whatever color you want. That's what I'm saying. You can hit this controller and let it stay that way. Or in this case, you can let it change the colors along the way. We'll get more on that later. The kit comes with an oval piece of double-sided 3M tape that doesn't say which side goes on what. But I can assume that the white side goes against the controller, and the yellow side that says 3M is the part that you peel when you apply it to the bike. I'm going to peel the backing off here. Carefully apply it to the back of this. There, and at that moment, set. Good. Without any bubbles. So nice and solid. here, make sure these double wires here are underneath the little lip of this panel here. And I'm looking for my mark, which is right there. Make sure it doesn't go any further in than that. This will go that way along with the other wire. So now I'm just going to pull this back. Remove the other two with the 3 on tape. There we go. Just go and pull it off. Check our location again. And you can see there will be a little gap in my top panel here as the oil goes out. So I'm going to pull it down just a little bit to try to match the curvature of the bike just a little bit. There, hold it in place. I'm just going to hold this a couple seconds. I'll stop the tape for now. I'm just going to hold this until it gets to set. And then we'll go ahead and wire this thing up. Make sure your wires are tucked in, as I said, and these wires are going underneath the seat, the frame rather. I held that on there for like 30, 40 seconds. Make sure that's sticking real well. And again, I give you a sample of what we have. And these things, like I said, are going to be underneath. This side is going to be underneath that panel. I'll put it back on. Press this button, change the colors, orange, my favorite blue, and we go with red, there's the blue. Now the left is in here, you'll be able to see it from both sides, along with any other lights you may have on your bike. This one thing this thing would do, if you were to, is that it actually would change colors. And what's even nicer about this, what I like this unit, is that when you're done with that, you can stop that color change and you can actually turn them off. So if you don't want to run these lights, you can reach down here and hit the power button. Because I'm going to have this set on the run lights. Stop it. So I'm going to have this set on the running lights on the controller I have there. So these will come on each time I turn the bike on. If I do have an option, I'll turn them off. One other thing too, I have lights where the background is white, but I chose black so it can blend in with these black panels on here. That way when they're not on, all you see are they're blended in black, even though it's obvious that they're there, but it's not as obvious as if this whole panel was white. Here's what it looks like when it's installed. Prior to this install, I installed a shell chrome accessories, isolated fuse accessory that you can supply accessories to the bike other than going straight to the battery. That would be a good thing to use because that's what I'm going to use to power these lights. And it's time to cut away this battery connector tester so we can hook it up into the bike. Now we'll simply snip these wires as far down as you can get them. You have a little room. There, that part's now removed. We're going to hook this into the bike. I removed the cap of my Showcoma accessories fuse, isolated fuse block. And I'm going to strip a little bit of end on these wires. Twist these a little bit. I'm gonna take a minute because I have some other wires running into here. So I'm gonna stop the tape for a minute, twist these around these other running wires, then we'll be hooked up. Now that I got it all connected, I'm gonna put this cap back on here when things cool down from the heat shrink I was doing. But they're connected and they're working. I'll show you that in a minute. Now for a functional check, turn the power on, accessory up, and go back to the power mode. I've got this thing powered by the regular. And you can actually change the colors. You see my other lights up forward that I put on are working. And you can change the brightness to dim, keep them dim. Go with the purple lights, or you can have them rotate. Watch this. Changes colors. I don't know how often I will use that feature, but it's nice to have. And as I was saying before, I can actually turn them off. So when you run the rest of the things, and you see the black color blends in with it, you see this little yellow look, it looks like a part of the design. So I think that's a successful hookup. Hopefully this thing will work out good. The wire's going this way, the wire going that way. I'll show you another video of when I put the covers back on so you see how it'll look. Here's the LED on the left side, my controller. I ran the wires underneath the frame and on top for one of them. And come around to the other side. See, I did the same thing for this side. Ran that in here, and I ran all the wires out of the way so I could connect them to this show chrome accessories connector. This is what it looks like when the bike's all together. I'm going to put a little cap on this edge here. Other than that, it looks decent. I even found something that can create a cap for that. Moving on to the other side. As you can see, that panel does not interfere with that, and it's on there nice and sturdy. I'll show you a couple of views. These are lights I put on the front. These are the one I just installed, and the lights on the back. So now I got full light coverage. The rear can be a different story. As you can see, if I go here, I can change the color. This is a reminiscence of my old motorcycle. Had a bunch of green along the side. And this is a soft blue. Here's my blue. So as you can see, it matches everything. One more glimpse of it changing colors. So I can actually have that doing that if I'm going down the road. But more than likely, I'll probably do it when it's sitting still. I think I'll choose the color and leave it that way while I'm riding. Here's one video of it outside during the daytime. You still see lights quite well. And that's it at nighttime. So you'll be able to see the front lights I put on. The rear lights, they used to be reflectors. Now I have something midship. And like I said, you can have it alternate. The front, mid, and the rear on the side. And as the light's changing, you know, normally select the color and let it stay that way. So there you have it. I hope you liked the mods I did, and maybe you can consider that for your bike.